Hello YouTube, this is Drugoli from That's in the Never, and I'm here with my first Minecraft tutorial. And before I went into some more advanced redstone tutorials, I wanted to make like a basic redstone tutorial telling or explaining some of the basics of redstone. So I've set up this flat world here, and I've set up a few things that I'm going to show you. And first here I want to show something like how far redstone can go, because redstone power, when you have redstone, if I can just get a torch. When you have redstone, it can either, this is the redstone wire, it can either be in two states. It can be off or on. Those are the only two states redstone wire can be into. It can be in on or off. Nothing else. And the same with this redstone torch. It can only be on or off. So for example, if I want to turn this torch off, I could, because right now it's turned on. But if I were to put something here, it will turn off. But redstone, this redstone power can only go, I believe, it can only go 15 blocks away from the source. So I've set up this little test thing here, and I've activated it. It comes from the same place. Here, this basically just extends the power. So now it's extended 15 blocks from here. So if I go along, here, that's 15 blocks. You can see it's still, there's still power here, but here there's no power, no other way. But if you do something, it's not just 15 blocks in that direction, because here, this is also 15 blocks away from the source. So it's 15 blocks, it's also getting to be a bit more explained of there, but it's 15 blocks in the X and in this and this direction, not up and down. This is what I'm showing over here. If I quickly turn this on, you can see they both go the same length over here, but this wire here also goes up and down, but that doesn't make any difference. It's only in that direction or that direction. So that, we could call this X and call this Y. So I'm going to go in X and Y, not up and down. Or I think that's X and C or something, I'm not sure. But you can only go in those two directions, so that's something to keep in mind. And also, you can't place redstone on glass. Because you have some glass here, I can place it, but if I do it over here, it'll place easily. But you can't place it on glass. But there's one thing that glass is very useful for. I'm just turning this off. You can see the power doesn't go over here because there's glass, but if I were to remove this, the power could extend. Just put this in here. Now this is glass. But if you have power going here, you can see, I'm just show this one first. There's redstone wire here, and there's redstone wire down here. I showed you that if you do this, the power will continue on these 15 blocks. But if you put something in its way, like this, I don't even need these two blocks, it's only these that matter. So if I have a block here, it'll block the power. But if I remove this, it will stop blocking the power. I think, no. It'll stop blocking the power, but if I put something here, it'll block it. And also, redstone, if I put this here, redstone can't go down 2 levels, so it won't go down to there. It will only go down 1 level at a time. But then, how does this happen? That's one of the special things about glass. You can put glass like this, and it will still transfer the power. I mean, the glass could also not be there, but if you do this, this could be used for maybe hiding your wire, so you can walk on top of this, and you wouldn't have to jump over it all the time. You could put some glass. But it's something to keep in mind that you can do this with glass, but if you do it with anything else other than glass, it won't work. It won't work with sand or anything either, because they'll block the power, but glass won't. So I'll just turn this off. And this you have seen with the extend thingy, and these are ways that you can extend the power, because it only goes 15 blocks, but there are a few ways that you can extend it so it can go really far. It can go from like the ends of there to the ends of there. If I just turn this on, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways here that the power can be extended, or actually only 3, because these don't work. So I'll start off with this one. This is a very key component. It's called an inverter, and as you can see, it basically inverts the power. has this block right here and a redstone torch. So when power gets transferred, it actually transfers through this block and over to this. You could also put redstone on top, but it's as good to do this because then you can do something like this and have a floor and it'll still transfer the power. Just remove this. There we go. But the inverter basically just inverts the power, so you can see here it's on, but here it's off. So if I go and flip the switch, you see now this is on and this is off. And if I put something like another inverter over here, now it basically extends it, as you can see. Now it basically just extends the power. But instead of, this is a very key component. But if you go over here, this is what I showed you before, where I had that extra sand block here. This is the old extender. This would basically just extend the power. You can see it has 2 redstone torches, and when it gets power, this turns off, which turns this on. But if there's no power here, this torch will be turned on, which will in fact turn this one off, so there's no power. This basically just extends it. This was the old way of extending redstone power. Let's just look, where's the sun? Go back. There we go. And this is the new way. This is something Notch added. Believe it was in the Minecraft beta, I'm not quite sure. But these are called repeaters. And as you can see, I have 4 repeaters here. But this is the only one extending power. And as you can see, they're pointing different ways. And that's because the inverters can only go one way. And I can explain this better over here. So here I have my... no, not inverter, repeater. Here I have my redstone repeater. And I've put 2 different blocks here. This is where the power can go in. If I do this, the power would extend. But if I tried to put in power here, it wouldn't extend. And that's because when you put down a redstone repeater, let's see, do I have one? No, but I could pick this up. Just a second. Where the fuck's E? There it is. When you put down a redstone repeater, it points to the way that you're facing. And the thing about that is, the way the redstone repeater is pointing, it's the only way that power can be transferred. So I put this blue block here, and this means that this is the input. Power can only go in here on this side. And for here, it's only this side. Here, it's that side. And here, it's actually also that side, because it can go that way, that way, that way, and that way. And I have this block over here, and this is the output. So you can't get redstone power to go this way. Redstone can only go this way. And for example, this block over here, redstone can only go this way through it, not that way. And another thing about the redstone repeaters that I actually forgot to do a test for over here is that you can have delays on them. So like if I right-click, this is the default redstone repeater, but I can right-click on it. As you can see, this torch here, it moves. And basically, the further away it is from this torch means how big the delay is. So if I have it over here, there's going to be a bigger delay between power going into the thing and it actually being outputted. So that can be very useful for building something like making songs with note blocks and stuff like that. So this is just, as I explained over here, the redstone inputs over here, so the power can't go that way. And here the input's there, and the same thing here, the input's there, so the power can't go that way. Turn this off. And this is just a quick test to show how redstone can be transferred upwards. There are 3 different ways. So if I turn this on, this is the least space-consuming way. It uses the least amount of space, and it just uses the inverter principle, as you can see. If I turn this off, then this torch is turned on, which turns this off, which turns this on, which turns this one off. But if I flip the power, then this is off, which means this is on, off, on. So that gives power up here. Another way you can do it is you can use this kind of spiral thingy, which is basically just use redstone wire. But the thing is, this can only go as high, because then the redstone power can only go 16 or 15 blocks, and that's one But just using this space, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. I know it's going up, but it's also going left and right each time it goes upwards. So that's also like 1 block in the 15 thing we have over there. And then this is the last way, which is just a kind of stairway thingy. I believe these are the only 3 ways that you can actually get redstone to go upwards. You can use these 2 methods to get redstone to go down, but this method, it only works for getting redstone to go upwards. You can't, the power can't go downwards. It can only go upwards with this construction. But with this thing, it could both go up and down. And also this thing over here. So you can use redstone for a few different things, and I actually forgot to put 2 down here. I think I have them in here. Yeah, I do. I can just show these at the end. But there are a few different things you can do with redstone. You can see I've placed a few iron doors over here. And the thing about, first, with doors, to activate, make the door open, the redstone needs to be pointing at the door itself. So you can see here the redstone points directly to the block where the door is. But this one, the power goes past. So, well, if I could also put it here. No, actually I can't. So you can see the redstone just goes past, and that won't activate the door. So that's a thing to keep in mind. If you want something redstone to open your door, you need the power to go directly to the door. But you can also, I'm also showing that here, if you want it to come in from the side, it needs to have at least 1 block here, so it goes directly into the door. I can't do something like this. This won't work, because the power needs to go directly to the door. And pointing directly into the door at the block that at the block that the door's on. And here I'm using a different method. I'm using a redstone torch, which is down below, and I have an inverter which turns this torch on when there's no power. This torch is on, which turns this torch off. But if I add power to it, then this one turns off, which if I go over here, you can see that torch turns on, which adds power to this block, which, oh damn it, which makes the door open, if I didn't just place some obsidian there. But you can also use redstone for this over here. So here I have some tracks, and as you can see, right now the track is turning that way, so if a card came in here, it would go this way. But if I flip the switch, then the track turns, and now it goes the other way. And also, oh damn it. And we also have this, which is the new booster tracks, and if you add power to this thing, it basically just turns it on, and a card would speed through it, or if it's standing on it, it would start going in one direction. And the last few things you can use redstone for is for note blocks, for example. So you can see it just made a sound. But you can also use it to turn on TNT. So if I do this, and run away, you can see the TNT explodes. But then again, the redstone needs to point directly at the TNT for it to work. And lastly, I want to explain a few ways that you can get power to your redstone thing. Here I use switches for all of these things, but you can also, this is the switch. When it turns on, it'll keep adding power to the thing. You have to click it to turn it off. Then there's a button which adds power for, I believe, a second or something. As you can see, it adds power and then it turns off again. And then we have these 2 pressure plates. This is a wooden pressure plate. You can walk on it, and it emits power as long as someone's standing on it, but if you walk off, it still adds power for like a second. And the same with this thing. When you stand on it, it keeps adding power, but if you go off, it stops immediately. So this one keeps power. No, wait. No, they both turn off after a second or something. But one thing about these, if I throw an item on this pressure plate, it turns on. But if I throw an item on this pressure plate, it doesn't. An animal has to... For this one, you can use items and minecarts and such like. I don't have that much time. But for this, it has to be a human being of some sort. And here, this is another kind of pressure plate. It's the new Detector Track, which works the exact same way. But doesn't work for people. So I need to end this real quick. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to comment down below, follow me on Twitter, and if you want, so if you have any specific tutorials that you want, comment that down below. But I can't make any like CPUs if that's what you want. So think about no CPU comments. And remember to join my Steam group. Link or the name is in the description. And take care.